The iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max arguably has some of the best cameras in the market, but you can't fit a 240mm lens inside of a thin body like this. So if you want to take advantage of architectural, landscape, detail photography, and you want to maximize every pixel this phone has inside of it, that's where this 240mm lens from Reeflex comes into play. It will turn the iPhone into a long-range photography powerhouse. Let's get into it. All right, guys, full disclosure with this, I am partnering with Reeflex for this series of videos. I'll be talking about this, as well as their 2x telephoto lens, as well as the 300mm and 200mm macro attachments to the 240mm lens. This is going to give you fantastic macro capabilities, but if you're going to get close to a bee or to an insect, you probably don't have to worry about getting stung. Just putting that out there. I didn't try for this review, but you're quite a bit of distance, so you're going to be good with that. All right, let's talk about the build quality on this thing. Real quickly, aerospace grade aluminum. We got lanthanum glass inside of this. It's very high quality coming out of Italy. Reeflex has been making fantastic optics and attachments to their iPhones for a period of years, and this is really up there with some of the best I've tried. I've got the entire kit here from fisheye to anamorphic. We'll cover that in another video, but I want to talk about the telephoto aspects because I think for a lot of people out there that are getting more into this long-range photography, because you're seeing Apple and other manufacturers get into this, these lenses are really going to enhance the capabilities of this phone, as I mentioned earlier. Now, this lens comes around 95 grams. It's not that heavy, and it's very pocketable. It's got a 17mm thread on the back of this. So with the Reeflex case, obviously it's going to screw in perfectly. But if you don't have a Reeflex case, but you have another iPhone case that can take lens attachments and it's 17mm thread, you can also use this lens. So it's not proprietary to Reeflex, but obviously with the casing, with the app, it does give you the best overall experience. So let's talk about image quality and usability. If you're going to use it with the native iPhone app, which you can do, you can maximize the 4x and 8x. In the Reeflex app, you're going to pinch into zoom. If you're using another third-party pro camera app, you can also take advantage of the telephoto depending on how it's set up. But you want to designate it to the telephoto lens because on some of the other apps out there, including iPhone, it will switch between the main and telephoto depending on the situation, but this is only designed for telephoto lens. It's not designed for the main one. The image quality out of this is pretty spectacular, especially when you understand how to maximize its reach and know its strengths. The close focusing on this is around 3 to 5 meters. So when you take that in consideration, if you're going to walk around your house or go to something close without the macro lens on it, you may find that your image is not sharp. You got to be a certain distance away. But once you're locked into that distance and beyond, that's where this lens really shines. And I'm walking around Singapore here, National Arts Gallery. I'm outside taking pictures of buildings and just people and just street photography. And I'm really impressed by the image quality coming out of this. I was walking by Pop Mart, by a mall, and I was taking images of, I don't know, some dolls, right? But the separation, the detail on the toys, the clothing, I mean, it was really something. I'm like, whoa, okay. This is nice. I mean, I've tried this in other Android phones out there that have these lens attachments, but for having something this small in the back of an iPhone and getting that kind of reach and that kind of detail, and you can go TIFF, you can go RAW, 48 megapixels, 12 megapixels. I mean, you can really push these cameras with this lens. It's pretty spectacular. Now, let's talk about some of the things you need to know about this, though. In lower light, you're going to want to go two-handed with this, and I'll tell you why. Because shutter speed. There's a little bit of camera shake to this. Now, there is some image stabilization already built into the app and obviously into the iPhone, but when you're at the longer focal ranges, you're going to see a little bit of shake. So I would recommend going two hands, obviously landscape or portrait mode, and you're going to be okay with that. However, if you want to go into macro, which we'll talk about in just a second, you may want to opt for a tripod depending on your situation or really stable your body, okay? Because macro photography is a whole new ballgame. But overall, when you get the photo in focus, it's absolutely fantastic. And of course, you can control it with the Reeflex app, manual focus, you can use autofocus, you can play around with all those settings. It is pretty friggin' amazing. Let's talk about macro photography for a second here, the 200 and the 300mm. Funny enough, at least for me, is I thought that the 300mm would really bring me in closer. But actually it doesn't. It's the 200mm that brings you in closer than the 300. 300 allows you to step back a bit farther. And yeah, you'll get used to it once you play around with it, but you can get some beautifully sharp images. And I tried it with paintings inside this gallery here. I wanted to see how I could capture the paintbrush strokes and the detail on the canvas. And it was beautiful how sharp these images were and the detail that you can see. And that really impressed me. I've even tried on books in the museum, and I've tried it on a watch face, and it's just, it's cool. It's very special. And I like macro photography. I do a lot of it here in my studio once in a while for B-roll of products. And this is really a great lens for that, especially with those attachments. Now, they also do make dedicated macro lenses that's in the kit, and I'll talk about that in a separate video because there's some pros and cons of that, which are really good, but it's more of a wider angle field of view on it, which some people like and some people don't like. With the telephoto, you're going to get much better compression, which is a preference for me. Let's talk about this 2x telephoto lens for a second. This is a big boy, and it's significantly heavier than a 240mm, okay? But this is designed for the main camera housing. Now, with the new iPhone 17 Pro Max, you're getting, 2x zoom on it essentially with lossless zoom, and you're getting really good image quality and high resolution. So in some ways, is this lens still valid? It is, but more for if you want high resolution, 48 megapixels shooting in RAW, and you don't want to, bring down the resolution to get that from further reach. That's where this is going to come into play. Just straight out of the main camera, when you're focusing on subjects, you're going to get a nice, beautiful depth of field and background blur, and it looks like a pro camera. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, and you're getting very sharp, high-resolving images out of this. You notice it right away. The glass out of both of these lenses are absolutely fantastic. But I would say it's big. This one is really going to be something that you'd have to carry separately. So there's some pros and cons of this, but if you're looking for fantastic optics and you do not care about size, this 2x telephoto lens is probably one of the best I've seen out there when you attach it to an iPhone. But that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, these lenses are, as you're seeing from the sample images, it's impressive. And again, you can use it with the native Reeflex app, you can use it with the iPhone app, or you can use it with another third-party pro camera app. As long as you can designate which lens works with what attachment, you're going to be good to go. So with that, guys, take care. I'll chat to y'all in just probably a couple days' time. Bye.